So, so here we go. Again, welcome everybody. This is a conversation with Ficklin Media with Shirley Ellis West. Some of you may know Shirley in terms of you're a former alderperson, uh, very much involved in NAACP in the past, graduate of Wilbercross High School. I think Shirley, you were born here in New Haven?
No, I was actually born in North Carolina. I came here at the age of 12, so I lived
At the age of
here.
12?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
now you're 16, so you've been here for
yeah,
at least 4 or 5 years.
yeah, four
Uh,
or five
four or
years.
5 years, and very much involved with what was formerly called the New Haven Family Alliance. And now I was looking Shirley at the April 28th, the press release of about a month ago, and talked about the Urban Community Alliance. So tell us about that, because you've been on the battlefield for a while, and I was just surprised and pleased that you still have some energy and you're still ready to kind of make some things happen. So
Okay, well,
what's the Urban Community Alliance all about?
so first, I'd like to share that Urban Community Alliance is the formerly New Haven Family Alliance and the Vets mentoring program that have merged together to form one organization, which is Urban Community Alliance.
Ah.
So New Haven Family Alliance is an organization that I have been involved with for the past 27 years under the leadership of Bob Bertini for the past 25. And so the organization is certainly a part of me, so it's a part of me, and the organization is certainly a part of the community. And so I have been offered the position of executive director to lead to lead Urban Community Alliance into its next phase of existence. And so I'm really blessed and fortunate to do that, not only because of my history and legacy with the formerly New Haven Family Alliance organization, but my commitment to juvenile justice and supporting children, youth, and families in the community. So I'm excited about the role that I have to lead the organization into its next phase of existence, and and I'm excited about the vision for the organization. But it is certainly a merger that will strengthen the brand of both organizations.
Uh, that's great. You know, when you mentioned the 25 years, and just we'll give a brief shout out to, I can recall talking to Mustafa Abdul Salam back at Science Park. We were kind of discussing purchasing furniture for the first office. So I was able able to connect with him. Of course, I'm younger too. I'm only like 6 years old now. So
yeah, I know.
But going down memory lane is really something. And going down memory lane is helpful, but I'm encouraged to hear that you still see some new opportunities, some new strategies, some new efforts, and some new impact that you might be able to provide under this new umbrella.
Yes. So, so one of the, again, so the organization has been able, to sustain at least 3 of its premier programs. So we still operate a juvenile review board under the Urban Community Alliance. We still operate an intensive family preservation program where we support families that are DCF involved. We still operate a fatherhood program. We had a very exciting male involvement network meeting this morning. And the new program, the premier program, is the program where I hire veterans to provide mentoring support to some of our young people in the community who are at high risk. And so the new relationship involves actually, recruiting and hiring veterans to serve as mentors to this population. I'm really excited about the the Vets Mentoring Program because it's an opportunity to work with young people across the state. I already work with young people in Bridgeport and Hartford under the Vets Mentoring Program. And it's an opportunity for our military, people who have served the country, who come home and quite often want to give back, an opportunity for them to give back to young people, who based on their military experiences and their training, they are a population that can really support and give back to these young people. So I'm really excited about the Vets Mentoring
Boy,
Program.
that's fascinating. Let's, in terms of someone though, listen to this recording. How can, I mean, honestly, how can they contribute, be of help, assist? No one works. Some of us want to work in a silo, but we realize that doing that does not maximize our effectiveness. So if someone wants to call, contribute, volunteer, share some information, resources of information or content, or even just their time and their energy, how should they reach out to you guys?
Okay, so you can reach out to us by calling 203-786-5970. That is our that's our main number. And before I go any further, I'm also excited that on January, on June the 2nd, our website will be going live.
Okay.
So we will have a website that's going live that will certainly give people the opportunity to find out not only how to contact us, but how to volunteer with us, how to donate to us, and to also update them on the exciting work that we're doing in the community within all of our programs. But to respond today, you call 203-786-5970. And the call will be, so if you are interested in volunteering, my juvenile review program, and our goal is to direct young people from the juvenile justice system into a community process that's less punitive, that helps them to understand, that helps them to see the crime or what got them to the table, to help them to see that more so than a crime, but how to repair that harm to themselves, to the victims, to the community. And that's done through a process of recruiting of volunteers. Volunteers are significant in the model of the Juvenile Review Board program. Male Involvement Network. You can always, a dad or someone from the community who have an interest in supporting fatherhood work, you can access Male Involvement, the Male Involvement program. The DCF program is a little, so because it's DCF and there's a lot of other confidentiality protocols attached to that. Volunteers are not normally directed to the DCF program. And again, I am always looking for vets that would that are interested in giving back to the community and supporting these young people. And so any veteran that would like to get more involved should contact the organization as well. And so so that's and you can email me at shirley.west at ucainc.org. And so again, look for the website after June 2nd.
Yeah, I really appreciate your sharing that, because sometimes people will just put up a website without really thinking about how important it is. You've taken the real time and making it a substantive and useful, something really of consumer easy for people to use, but also very informative.
Yes, the website I'm really excited about, and so excited about it going live. And you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, with all the social media platforms. So you can also Facebook. We have a Facebook page. Those things are already live, but the website will be live on the 2nd.
And just as you were talking, I was thinking maybe we should chat again at some point to have some of your volunteers participate on the call.
Yeah.
Take me back to the juvenile juvenile court kind of thing. Don't you have to have really substantive and significant kind of relationship with the police department, with the courts? I mean, that's a tricky thing.
So the JRB, so there are JRBs across the state, and so they're larger, they're smaller ones. We all operate kind of differently, but there are 3 JRBs that operate out of urban communities: New Haven, Hartford, and Bridgeport. And so in New Haven, so we are funded, the JRBs are funded by the Department of Children and Families.
Okay.
And so the funding comes from them, and we get referrals from New Haven. Okay, so from New Haven Police Department, the courts, We get referrals from the schools based on truancy, attendance, behavior issues. We can accept a referral from the community.
Oh, good.
Say there's a community provider that's working with a young person, and they feel that the young person would benefit from the intervention. They can also make a referral. So JRB is pretty much an opportunity in the community to really refer a young person that you really feel like intervention with supportive case management would help that young person. So the JRB relationships, they can go anywhere from 6 months. So once we get that referral and that young person accepts the service, that young person and family accepts the services, though that young person is assigned a case manager, and then the case manager will support that young person through what we call the accountability panel, and the creation of a diversion contract, which means that one of the goals is to have the young person agree to a contract that becomes valuable for them in their youth development. So the contract may involve youth development activities, educational activities. If a young person is assessed needing mental health support, all of those things go into the divergent contract, which now becomes something that I own as a young person. The case manager supports me in being successful at meeting those goals, and I have up to 6 months to do it. And the age requirement for JRB, so currently the age requirement has been 8 to 17. However, we are in the state is in the process of not sending younger kids, but you will not, so you would get sent to a JRB, I think, at the age of 12. So it would be like from 12 to 17.
So
but in the past, we've served younger kids.
Well, even a 12 and 13-year-old, you're saying sometimes might need an intervention.
Oh no, we in the past time we've served, we've gotten referrals for kids as young as 8 and 9. And so yes, but those kids are now the younger ones, the under 12 ones, are now being considered for an intervention that's left with juvenile court versus a community organization. But in the past, we have served those kids, and we've been operating our New Haven JRB now for about almost 15 years.
And would you say generally that you've been reasonably successful?
Yes. So we are required to support at least 200 young people, unduplicated young people in the community a year. So we always get pretty close to that 200. This year, we're going to struggle with that because referrals are not, based on this COVID situation, referrals are not they are not as coming as they have in the past. And so, but the kids that get diverted, a small percentage of them may recidivate, which means that they may end up back in the JJ system. Many of the young people that come for attendance and behavior issues, we support them in improving that, so they get promoted. They're not suspended or expelled from school. So yeah, we show some really good success rates with the young people that we do have the opportunity to serve under the juvenile review board. Because it's about harm. I mean, we help young people to understand that, okay, so I broke Mr. Tom's window, and I'm at the table because I broke Mr. Tom's window. But when we get Shirley at the table, then it becomes a process of a strength-based focus where we don't what you did does not become the primary focus, but helping to build your strength, your capacity, helping you to modify your behavior, helping you see the harm to yourself and to others. That's what this volunteer panel this volunteer panel
Ah,
actually engages these young people in. And I operate a program in both New Haven and Hampden.
okay, okay. And you mentioned you have counterparts in Bridgeport and Hartford, did you say?
Well, that's for the vets mentoring
Oh, the vet,
program.
okay,
That's the program that actually I get to expand my reach
okay,
outside of New Haven.
okay.
The JRB is funded. So the New Haven JRB is funded for New Haven. The Hampden JRB is funded for Hampden. But I operate both of them under Urban Community Alliance.
So you're getting three or four checks, you're saying, 5 or 6 checks?
You know, 3 or 4 times. What am I gonna say? You know,
Actually, let's give a shout out to, because I was looking through the press release and you have some funders. So let's kind of acknowledge some of the funders of your initiative.
So my first shout out is going to be to the Greater New Haven Community Foundation. They have been so supportive of the organization, not only in the past years, but during this transition, during this merger. Greater New Haven Community Foundation, they have certainly been a supporter and committed to the causes of, to supporting the efforts of Urban Community Alliance. Graustein's Foundation, they've been a long time supporter of New Haven Family Alliance and now Urban Community Alliance. And so those are foundations that I so appreciate, and so appreciate that even in the midst of our struggles and potentially having to close the doors, they've hung in there with us. They've supported, and they support because they clearly understand the impact of the work that we do on behalf of Black and Brown citizens in the city of New Haven. And so I so appreciate that. And so we as I've already shared, the Juvenile Review Board is funded DCF funding. The fatherhood work is Department of Social Services funding. IFP, the intensive family work that we do with families, that's DCF funded as well, but a partnership with Yale Child Study Center. So the IFP work is in partnership with the Yale Child Study Center.
That's key.
And the vets mentoring program is currently receiving funding from CSSD, Court Support Services Division.
Okay.
And we get some funding from Achievement First to support schools in Hartford and New Haven. And
Tremendous.
so
that's so important for people to see the connections and the synergy that you're building through various sectors. That's really key. Let's take a deep breath and kind of almost a metaphorical question or a hypothetical question. But you've been doing this for a few decades. You've been doing this for a few decades. What's kept you more? I mean, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I certainly could have retired by now. And I'm sure you may not articulate in your mind retiring, but I'm sure the thought you are aware of the word retirement and smelling the roses and kind of relaxing. What's kept you still committed and passionate about this work, given the time that you've already invested? So some people could say, Shirley, just relax. You've paid your dues, double, triple times over.
So. And you're right, Tom. So I am give myself a deep breath, but first of all, I'm too young to retire.
Okay, I forgot. You're 16. I forgot.
I
stand corrected. I stand corrected. You're right. You're right.
But Tom, so I have always kind of been one of those people in personally and in the community that I feel strongly that when we are in positions to help, then that's what we should do. Quite often, I've sat at many tables in the community, a lot of tables in the community, and a lot of conversation goes on. And so I guide myself by that. If I'm at a table and I could do something besides talk, then it's my responsibility to do that. So over the years, New Haven Family Alliance, I have been, I was employed there for 27 years. So this is going on. July, I think, will be 28, and the organization will soon be celebrating, I think, 30 years. So I have always been committed to the work, simply because I've always felt like it was I hate to be cliche-ish, but God's work.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to get up every day, and I get to go to a job that at the end of the day, I've helped somebody in some way to be motivated, or have a better quality of life, or I've helped somebody in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I've helped them personally. I've helped them through whatever department or whatever my role might have been at the organization. So I'm helping, and I really feel blessed that I get to help. I get to not just talk about it and sit in my home and get concerned about what's going on in the world. I get to be a participant, and I get to help. And so, but the other piece of it is that this new leadership role as executive director was not one that I was pursuing. My commitment with the organization was certainly there, and I had no intentions of going anywhere. However, I was not actively pursuing a leadership role at this level. But I found myself in a position of being asked to support and step up my leadership role. And when I can't find a reason to say no, especially when you're asking me for my help, then I'm probably going to support. And that's what I did. So a year and a half ago, when I was asked to step my leadership role up as Barbara Tinney was retiring, I couldn't abandon the organization, because it's like my family. It's an organization that I have a real commitment and heart for. And so I stepped up, and by stepping up, once I stepped up, I was continued to I was asked to keep stepping up and stepping up. That's what, so it became sort of what I did every day. And so I find myself today as the executive director. But do I think about retiring? Yes, I do. But the thing that's exciting me right now is that I somehow have become blessed to lead an organization with an awesome legacy. And when I say awesome legacy, because I was a part of that legacy, the work that this organization, that the New Haven Family Alliance did in the past, 29 years, you talked about Mustafa. I joined when Mustafa was executive director.
Right.
The work that this organization has done to impact the quality of life for children and youth, children and families in the community, I feel blessed to be the one to lead it into its next phase of existence. I feel blessed to take, to work with others in creating a vision of what that might look like. Not only what that might look like here in New Haven, but what that will look like statewide, nationally, even globally, Tom. So look, I'm thinking even globally.
Tremendous.
So again, so I can't retire. It's too much work to be done. So I think to answer that question, that's my basis for just not thinking about retirement for at least another 5 years or so. But yes.
And as you say, you have to have a vision, or something negative will happen to you. Let's give a shout out to someone in terms of implementing your vision and making it a reality. Let's talk about some of your board members. I guess Erica is your board chair.
So I have a new board. Oh yes, and I'm really excited about my new board of directors. Miss Erica Bradley is the board chair. And the vice chair is Miss Erica. So I have is two Ericas, Miss Erica Garcia So I'm just like Erica Garcia, but she has another name in there that's missing my head right now. Howard Hill is on my board. I have a veteran who's a highly recognized veteran on my board, Noel Milan. I have another board member. Let me just go back. Howard and another board member, they actually transferred from the Vets Board to the Urban Community Board. So Miss Carol Ruiz, who's my financial board chair, she transferred with Mr. Hill from the Vets Board of Directors. Angela Wardlow, who is an educator in the community, is on the board. And I don't, and Daryl Drawn is on my board. And so the board is small, and you know what, and a small board is a nice board to kind of start working and be developing your, we getting developed. And so the board is excited. I'm excited. I love their energy and their synergy and their heart for the work that we do as a nonprofit urban community. And I'm excited about training with them, learning with them, developing with them, and creating a vision with them. So very excited, because they are a good group to do that with.
Good. I know you've had.
And one other, Dr. Maisa Akbar, is a board member because she is the founder. She is the founder of the Vets Mentoring Program, and so she's also a board member. Yes.
Tremendous. I know you've had a busy conference Zoom call this morning and probably a busy day. Do you have another 5 or 10 minutes for us to kind of chat about a few more matters?
I have another call at 1, so I got another. Yep, I got another. So you're right. This whole remote COVID-19 new way of working and living, it's really a lot of Zoom calls. I learned so much about technology that and still some more to learn. But yes, I have another 5 minutes or so. Thank you.
Let's talk about this global pandemic that's kicking in, and my question is not so much pertaining to Urban Community Alliance, but how it might be affecting you. But on the other hand, in addition, how it might be affecting some of your clients. I mean, it's impacting everyone's kind of behavior and your approach, and even your mentality, and even your energy level. We're just curious if you've what have you been thinking about as an organization to kind of pivot, if you will, or it's just kind of really a broad question as we kind of conclude. Because I was mentioning to you before we started recording that I've started doing more Zoom calls just to maintain some degree of sanity. It's occurred to me that I normally consider myself a reasonable person and not subject to any addictions, but this is really impacting my I'm even maybe uncovering some addictions I didn't know that I had. But make a long story short, it's important, just given your keeping families whole and people whole and the civilizations whole, that now there's a whole new stress level on everyone. And then how does that impact the Urban Community Alliance? And you personally?
Okay, and so personally, I still struggle, but personally, the limitations on social interactions for me, I'm a social person. And I really, and my home has now become like my office and my home, and home had always represented something different for me. Now it's kind of all rolled into one. And so I don't struggle with that as much as I did early in this process, but it still becomes a struggle. So when I hear of so I celebrated a birthday in April.
Oh, you're sweet 16. Happy birthday.
Thank you. But it was, and I love birthdays. So it was a different way to celebrate my birthday. And I thank my children and my grandchildren for all they did to make it a really great day. However, it was absence of family, which is really, I mean, it's one thing to see you, but it's another thing to be able to touch and feel and really interact with you, particularly when you are family. So those things have been challenging for me. I have not, I have not really lost anyone close to me and during COVID. However, but friends and other family members, there have been losses, and we cannot lay our loved ones to rest in a respectful way that we as Black folk are used to doing. Getting married. I mean, all those things that we celebrated in the past, they look very different today based on this whole social distancing. And I'm gonna say one last thing
Sure.
personally for myself. I hate the mask. The mask make me feel like I can't breathe, but I wear the mask.
That's
I
right.
wear the mask to protect you and to protect me as best I can. But it's the most uncomfortable thing in the world for me, because I'm one of those people that I prefer not to have anything on my face, And so with regard to the organization, so during this COVID-19, naturally my staff and all of us, we are working remotely. We are working remotely and being consistent and accountable to our contractual obligations as best we can. We are doing Zoom calls and FaceTime calls and telehealth and
Mhm.
whatever calls that we need to do to be able to stay in contact and in relationship with our youth, our children and our families. And when someone, so the office is open from 10 to 3,
Mhm.
with one staff person there, but the office is open because if staff needs something that they don't have at home, then we're able to go into the office to get those needs met. And if we need to meet with a client, then we can. But PPE, protecting ourselves, is high on the list.
Yes.
But families are there. I mean, there's stress. Our young people are feeling a little bit more stressed, I think,
Mhm.
based on the change in school, the change in being not being able to go to parks and hang out in the way that they were used to hanging out. So I think and I think family stressors have really heightened. The thing that I appreciate is that we have not heard about a lot of domestic violence issues. A lot of issues at
Hmm.
that nature from our family. So I thank God for that. So mental health, I think there's a lot more mental health issues emerging around this COVID, that you said it yourself, some
Ab-
addictions or some things that we didn't even know we had.
Absolutely.
I've had 2 telehealth visits in this
That's right.
4 months. And wait,
Mhm.
and so I mean, didn't want to, but had to, what I mean? And so, so those are some things. Families are continuing to be challenged with some basic needs. And as they get challenged with basic needs, I thank God that the organization has been given some funding, so that if a family is challenged with food, with technology, with maybe paying a bill, that the organization we can help in that way. So I thank God to those people who supported the organization, so that we can support our families in that way. And so other than that, I just think that this is just a new way of living and working for us, and but we have to do it. We have to do it.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
reportedly, Black and brown communities are at the highest risk. And you know what? And nobody had to tell you that or me that. However, that's the reality.
Mhm.
And so we must continue to do everything in our power to help these communities, to be able to help Black and brown communities to be able to understand the importance of protecting themselves and their families, and the community, at large, to wear our masks, to do to wash our hands, to wear our masks, to do all of that, and so I'm really so we have to continue to do that.
Perfect. Don't want you to be late for your next meeting. And again, it's a pleasure talking to Shirley Ellis West, the Executive Director of Urban Community Alliance, and a
So
good. Go ahead.
Okay, can I just give us one last plug to let the community know? On June the 6th, we're gonna have a clothing drive in the parking lot at 446 Blake Street from 8 to 12. And we're collecting items, and we are inviting the community on Saturday, June the 6th, the first Saturday in June, which is June the 6th, to come out and just and take some and be blessed by some of the donations that we will be sharing on that day.
Tremendous. And Shirley, on that note, maybe we should chat in another 2 months or so, just for a little update, because your services that you provide are so needed. Thank you so much again. If you have a flyer, maybe send it to me. I'll certainly share it of the clothing drive. And just
okay, and we do.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Tom. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. We'll do it again.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Take
All
care.
right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.